Hi everybody, we're going to find the domain of some rational functions. The first one's going to be g of x equals x over x squared minus 16. The next one, I don't know if I can get all this on this slide, but we'll see, is 2x over x squared minus 4. And the last one we're going to do, we're going to do 4 here. So I'll do the other 2 on the other slide. Basically, we want our domain to be all real numbers. So we want it to be all real numbers. And I'm going to just write it this way. However, is there any numbers that you can plug into this x here that would make this 0? So we're going to set this to 0. And you get x squared equals 16. And when you square root both sides, you get x equals plus or minus square root of 16, which equals plus or minus 4. So basically it's all real numbers, but, or such that x cannot be plus or minus 4. So you plug in 4 or negative 4 in the denominator, you will get 0, and you know you can't divide by 0. Okay, the same thing's going to happen with this one. We want it to be all real numbers. Are there any restrictions? So we're going to look at this denominator and set it to 0. You can factor this, and I think most students just like to solve for x. You square root both sides. Don't forget your plus and minus. You can get square root of plus or minus 4 is plus or minus 2. So we can't have x being plus or minus 2. Because if you plug that in the denominator, you will be dividing by 0, which is, we can't do that. Now, the next 2 we're going to do is x minus 2. So we have f of x equals x minus 2 over x cubed plus x. And we want to find the domain for that. So what I'm going to do very quickly is factor out an x in the denominator. Now, again, we want the domain to be all real numbers. Okay, so we're going to set the denominator equals 0. Split this up. So if we split this up, we have x equals 0, and we have x squared plus 1 equals 0. Well, in this case, we know that x can't be 0, so x cannot be 0. In this case, we're going to get x squared cannot equal negative 1, which would be x cannot equal plus or minus I. Now, we're not dealing with, when you square root, you get the I thing. We're not dealing with complex numbers, so we don't have to worry about this. So I'm just going to cross that out. And so we're left with just that x cannot be 0. All right? And you could also write this as, you could write domain out here. And then just write x. Then you can write x cannot be 0 if you want to do it that way. Okay, the last one is g of x equals x plus 4 over x cubed minus 4x. Now, we want it to be all real numbers. However, we got to see what makes this 0. So we set this to 0. I'm going to go ahead and factor out. Let's go ahead and do that here. We can rewrite this as x plus 4 over x times x squared minus 2. Or what did I put 2? 4. So set this denominator to 0. So we have x times x squared minus 4 equals 0. Break it up. So we have x, we take this part, x equals 0, and x squared minus 4 equals 0. So this part here is going to be x squared equals 4. Square root both sides, you get x equals plus or minus square root of 4, which is plus or minus 2. So we have x can't be 0, and also x cannot be equal to plus or minus 2. And that's all. The next set we're going to work on are square root functions. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.